Yo, guys, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? We're here for this series of club shows. We did Real Madrid, we did Liverpool, and for the next hour or so, we shall be delving really deep into Barcelona. And I think this is going to be an interesting one because there are many various ways in which we can sort of chop this up, looking at what happened during the summer and so forth. So this is going to be interesting. So obviously I have Zedman here, Kule, Axel, Sean, and Damien, who will try and give their expert insights into various topics. We're just going to go through various topics, go in deep. We may sort of veer off into different things and I actually add some topics that may not be on the title. Then we may take some questions at the end from the live chats. Then what I always do at the end is a throwback where I throw up a picture and an image from a past Barcelona legend, and then you guys just give your thoughts and your views on what you think of when you view said player. So, again, guys, if you're here, remember to hit that like button. Remember to subscribe if you're new, and remember, if you want to support your boy HH Halfop, remember, put in a donation in there with the PayPal link in the description box. And super chats, of course, are very, very much well appreciated as they help in the football hot and for the content crack, man. So that's out of the way, man. Let us now start off first with our first item of the day. And it's a very obvious one. And it's Messi. I want to cover this in two sort of ways. So I want to cover this Messi past, Messi present, Messi future. So I want to capture it in those three concepts: Messi past, Messi present, Messi future. So let's deal with Messi past. This past summer, where we had that whole notion of, my gosh, is Messi actually going to leave Barcelona? Is he going to try and enact his release clause? And is he actually going to leave Barcelona to move to another club? And then the whole idea was, bro, this is a Messi, that he's always going to spend his whole time at Barcelona. And the notion was either he spends his whole career at Barcelona, retires at Barcelona, or he's fine in his very final year of his playing career, he now goes to like a Rosario to settle up, but he pretty much plays the bulk of his best years at Barca. But obviously, in the wake of the way the team was constructed, the 8-2 beating by Bayern Munich, that obviously was not able to fall through. Messi said he wanted to leave. So this is the question I want to ask you guys, especially from you Barca experts, is this: do you think that it would have been better and beneficial for Barcelona to have, so just forget the whole, because I know Bartomeu made things complicated, but just let's say you were in charge and you were calling the shots. Do you think the best thing would have been to sell Messi for a fee, let him go and use that money to rebuild? Or you do feel that you still would have kept Messi at the club and tried to maybe hire a better manager? We'll get to Koeman later, but keep Messi at the club, build a better team around him, and then maybe that would have been a best way to move forward. Hence, because you don't feel like if the team would have been in a good position to survive and thrive without Messi, even if you got the money. So, Zeman, how do you view that whole Messi situation in the summer?
I view it as I understand the reasons why he wanted to leave per se. It's because of the mismanagement of Barcelona and the project that they haven't embarked in, and that's all he wants. All he wants is to be a part of a project that's succeeding, and that's what he said in his interview. He wants a very competitive project, and that's what he wanted at the end of the day. So in terms of what happened leading to that, you have the debacles in the Champions League and the team not necessarily improving, and the amount of incomes into the teams that did not necessarily improve the team as a whole. So Messi was tired of those things, and therefore he wanted to leave. Now, in terms of what would I've done in that scenario, I would probably sit down and talk to him, and I would explain to him my project, because at the end of the day, that's all he wants. That's why he's waiting for the presidential candidates. Once a president is picked, he wants to hear them out and hear their project. That's what he said in his latest interview, and that's what he wants. So I would lay out to him that this project is going to take 2 to 3 years at best, And the thing is, if he doesn't want to be a part of the project, I'm fine with him leaving. But I would explain to him this project is going to take time. There's going to be a lot of young players that are going to be developed, and there's going to be ups and downs. We're not going to get trophies immediately. We're not going to compete for the. We're not going to compete for the higher trophies in the Champions
But
League.
quickly, Simon, on that, knowing what his age is and knowing that his best years may be 2-3 years, how likely would he believe in a project that you say requires time?
Yeah, he wouldn't believe in it. I would expect him. I would expect him to try to find a new club because he understands that his time is running out. And a couple of years prior to Messi wanting to leave, I remember Bartomeu and the bunch of boards were saying that they're planning to build a project around Messi. Now, I like Messi, but the thing is, you can't build a project around a 30-some-year-old. You can't build a project around that. And the thing is, Messi doesn't necessarily want a project built around him. He just wants a functioning team. That's all he desires. And the thing is, it's going to take a while to transform this team into a functioning team. So, with that being said, if Messi desired to leave, I wouldn't stop him. And the incoming money would help a lot in terms of the financial need of the club and signing players.
Kule, thoughts on the whole Messi situation?
Thoughts on the Messi situation this summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing about Messi is a player that he requires a lot when you think about it. He requires a functioning team, but he requires players that he can play off of. You know, that's what you had with Dani Alves in the beginning. You had with Xavi Iniesta. You had with Pedro. Then moving on, you had Suarez, Alba. But now that Messi's here in the current Barcelona stage, he doesn't really have anyone to bounce off of. And I think that's concerning because Messi is a player that he needs a team that can work to his level. And it's like if they can't, like what's he gonna do? And not only that, like now that we are now like officially in transition, Messi is a player that he wants to win. He wants to get another Champions League. He wants to get a Copa America. And if he can't get that, then for him, I guess it's like a waste of time because like this man's not here for vibes. Because Barcelona is a team for winning. We are a team. We want to win the biggest trophies.
So, how likely do you think that you could create an environment for Messi to win a Champions League in the next 2 years? Because I just looked, so he's going to be 34 in June this year. So, what is the likelihood that, let's say you were Bartomeu, you were the president, that you could create a scenario that you could give Messi the pieces he needs to succeed in the Champions League?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
So basically, what is the likelihood that you could give Messi the pieces he needs to succeed in the Champions League in the next 2 years? If we're going to assume that 2 years is really the last of his peak years.
Likelihood, but I don't know if we'll be done with because the thing with kind of reforming the team is it's going to take time. And okay, we can get certain players for it, but how long will those players be committed to the team? How long will they be able to, because like for Dembele, it took a while for him to be integrated, but then for other players, it took like short time. Like Ansu Fati, he came in, he played well, but it's like, are we like it depends on the model. Are we going to be like a super galactical team just splashing cash again, or are we just going to bring in the young players? And if we bring the young players, how much time it's gonna take a while.
So would you have sold Messi in the summer for cash or still keep him?
To be honest, it's like if we have if you look at Messi's stats right now, Messi's our top scorer. He's the one that creates the most assists. He's the one that does so much for the team. So it's like, okay, we can sell Messi, and our economic budget will look good. But then you have like a quarter of the fans will leave. Absolutely, the quarter of the fans are going to go where he goes, or even more. Then you have the economics, like who's going to be buying the shirts, like whose shirts are they going to be buying? Like everyone buys Messi. And nobody's gonna buy Griezmann or Fati, not as much as they buy Messi. So you have that economic. The wage bill looks better, but then also, okay, so Messi had all this responsibility. He was playmaker, he was scorer, he was the assister, he was doing this, he was doing that. So who's gonna take those roles now? I think that's the issue. But I wouldn't have sold Messi personally. But at the same time, though, we need money because we're broke. But so yeah.
Damien, where were you? What did you sound like the whole Messi thing in the summer? Should they have sold him, kept
Well,
him? What's that?
well, since most of the guys have, taken what I was gonna say, well, I would have sold him long time before this. I would have sold him in 2019 in the summer after Liverpool and sold half of the squad that bottled that.
Wow.
Yeah, and look, regardless,
Wait,
whenever
okay, but why though? Why would he have sold Messi and all of those dudes if Messi wasn't the reason for the flop against Liverpool?
well, obviously at that time we were still in debt. We only had one trophy. It was looking really bad, and I thought like, you know what, we have to refresh the squad. These players don't have that same hunger anymore. Well, Messi does, but Busquets, Alba, Suarez, they didn't have the same hunger that they used to have before, and it was telling because they obviously just one trophy. So that that's how I would have went with it. But either way, whenever Messi leaves, it will still be uh, a kind of like a profit because the amount of wages we pay for him, like 60 mil a year, like I don't think any club would do that. Only if you're like Man City or PSG.
But then
So
it's what are you receiving? Because as Kole said, look at what he's giving in terms of goals, assists, and contribution.
yeah, that's what I was gonna go because in 2019 that was his best season. That 2018-19 that was like his best season, best performances I ever seen of him. You can say the 91 goals in 1 year was like, like his better year, but that
That was his
specific
best
year
season. It's 18,
that
19 was his
the
best overall season. Yeah.
yeah, those performances was absolutely outstanding. So he would have gone for even more, and then we could have sold our old Suarez for much more. Alba, Busquets, we could have like made like some huge profit from that. But obviously, Bartomeu is the I'm not gonna say the word, but as the stupid guy he is, he didn't do that, and he waited too long for the refresh and the reset button.
All right. Sean, what about you? Where do you stand on this whole thing, bro?
Well, I was a big advocate of Messi leaving in the summer, just because, well, economically it's difficult for Barca to continuously pay his wages during the pandemic, and the fact that we haven't been making smart signings over the past couple of years. You need to get some of those wage bills off of the books. And this is why I think it's really good for both parties to leave. And I said this over the summer a lot. I think it's good because now Barca have a 2 to 3 year, maybe even 4 to 5 year plan to structurally rebuild your team and build it around the young core. You can look at Ricky Puig, you can look at Pedri, you can look at Ansu Fati, you can look at Conrad. There's a variety of players, Araujo, Mingueza. There's a lot of players that are young and pretty promising moving forward. And when you have a 33-year-old superstar in Messi, in which his game is primarily based on ball, it actually can hinder the development of other players. Because what players are naturally deferring is they look at him as some sort of deity, some god. They just naturally defer to him. They pass him the ball. Then over time, they become devoid of confidence. And I don't think it's Messi's fault. It's just the fact that he's doing their roles better than them, and it doesn't let them develop into the players that they can possibly be. That's why I think at this point in Messi's career, if he was to go to a Manchester City, a PSG, a team that already has a structure and at least somewhat adequate tactics, then he can just kind of fit in into any sort of role, and then other players can do their part. Whereas at Barcelona, what he's doing is he's having to compensate for the lack of creativity as opposed to letting the team build their own sort of confidence to become creative in itself. And that's why it's really difficult for Barcelona right now, because you're having one player who's 33 having to drop deep into defensive mid positions. He's receiving the ball from Busquets, 5-yard passes from Busquets, and you turn around, and then he has 3 to 4 defensive mids, center mids to bypass. Then you guys a whole back line. And then if you play Coutinho and Pedri, everything becomes super funneled in, and it becomes super easy to defend. And then you look at Griezmann comes in centrally. So you got all these players. You have 3 to 4 players that can pretty much play either an attacking mid or a false nine role with zero width, especially when Fati's out. And even if Fati's back, he's going to be inconsistent as time goes on. He's still really young, despite an amazing start. He's going to have his inconsistencies. Does Messi really want to be there for the next 2 to 3 years, having to help develop young players? No. And I think it was kind of a travesty that he was forced to stay. Now, in his most recent interview by La Sexta, Messi said and he said that he could have taken them to court and won. He was told by many lawyers, various lawyers, with a really good understanding of both sides of the contract, both sides of Bartomeu's side and Messi's side, with the neutral ground, saying that Messi could have easily won this in court.
No, but my thing is how because from what we were given, wasn't the whole idea that he misread the contract that was signed? That the issue was that it was a what's it called, like a handshake agreement, not a contractual agreement. That because it's a handshake agreement and you have nothing written in print, it can't hold in court.
That's the thing. Was it? Do we have like the documents? Can we view it ourselves? I don't know if it was disclosed to the public. I mean, the point is that he.
No, but again, I mean, maybe guys in the live chats can maybe help me, but I think that I remember, I don't know whether it was Gaming Ballet, but they actually showed the sheet, and obviously people sort of translated it from Spanish in saying that, oh no, he's still under contract. And the whole thing was Messi says, oh no, I had a gentleman's agreement that Bartomeu said that you can disregard what the contract says. I will still allow you and give you the opportunity to go on a release clause. But
right. Well, there's a reason why it was very controversial in that. And again, getting into the legalities of it, I don't think any of us are really informed enough to really make a statement on it, other than just kind of speculate based on what you see from translations on documents that are posted on social media. What I can say is that Messi himself is really confident in his last interview when he was talking about it. The point, that's not really the point, because we talked about that during the summer. That's done and dusted. The point is, moving forward, the best solution for Barca is to simply sell him. And it's going to benefit Barcelona. It's going to benefit him. He's going to have a peace of mind moving forward. He can play for a club that can win things. Barca can finally rebuild and stop having the stress of having, because with Messi, there comes an expectation for your club. If you have a player like Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, some of the biggest players in the world, you're expected to win regardless of the surrounding pieces. Like, no matter what. Like, Juve not winning the Scudetto when they have a bunch of bricks in midfield, Ronaldo's going to get all the blame despite being top scorer. Messi's probably going to lead La Liga in goals. He'll get the blame for probably losing out to Atletico. When you have these players, you're, quote-unquote, expected to win. And it's really hard to keep those expectations up as you get older and as the supporting cast kind of diminishes. So, listen, if you're Barcelona, you have to get rid of him. I know a lot of Barca fans really want Messi to stay, but you have to look at the big picture. Like, you don't want an unhappy player. I mean, the fact that he got his first red card in the entirety of his club career this year, I mean, it's no coincidence that it came this year. So that's all I got to say on that, on Messi moving forward.
So now I want to and this is maybe a bit more brief before the next thing. Messi for the presence, as to what do you think Messi can do this season? So now the key thing is, you need to now know where this ban goes through. It's a 4-game ban. Barca going to appeal, but there's a possibility that it could be a 12-game ban. If it's a 12-game ban, now that makes things very dicey. So we can all assume that this is going to be Messi's final season for Barcelona. So my thing is, what do you think Messi can achieve with Barcelona this season? What do you think Messi can be able to do in his final go-round with Barcelona this season? Z-Man.
I don't personally, coming into the season, my expectation was that was the expectation behind Barcelona this season, and I think what he can accomplish is what he has.
Zeman, I think
are only out and out.
Wait, say again, because your internet was cutting out. Say again, your internet was cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, go. Speak now. Okay, go now. Go.
All right, you can hear me. Can you hear me now, or am I still cutting out?
You're sort of cutting out a bit, so maybe come out and come back in. Come out and come back in, and refresh your internet thing. All right, let me come to Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Yo. So what Messi can achieve this season?
Yeah.
I think individually, I think he can do. He can still get 20. He can get like 20 goals. He can easily get Pichichi this year. Oh, Pichichi. Oh yeah, of course. He can get Pichichi, like, without a doubt. But trophy wise, they're not winning Champions League. Let's just disregard that. Champions League, no. La Liga, it's a bit tricky. We have been on a beaten path. We have kind of come back, but Atletico still have those 2 games. I think they have like 1 game in hand now, or I don't know how many games in hand they have, but like they can still
2 games in hand.
Okay, so yeah, so they can still gain the lead more, but I think we can we can challenge for top four. So I think what leaves us left with is the Copa del Rey, which I think we have more chances of winning, but we'll see. I think out of all the three competitions, we have more chances of winning the Copa del Rey. I think we can just because Barcelona have won the Copa del Rey more in Spain, so I think we can just have that as a kind of a sending off to Messi in the end. But yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much it.
So Damien, what do you expect for Messi in his final season? Sorry, Damien.
At the beginning of the season, I said that we would go through another trophyless season, and I'm sticking by it. We'll still go through a trophyless season. I don't see this squad improving. As you can tell, as you can tell, our mentality is weak. We're spineless and a bunch of bottle jobs. As you saw in that cup final against Bilbao.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, so I said this at the start. We're gonna go through another trophy this season. At best, I mean, we might win the Copa del Rey. Maybe if we get lucky with the draws, but I don't see us winning the Champions League. Our Liga is very unlikely.
But what do you think Messi can achieve? Do you think it's going to still be an amazing Messi season, or you think it's going to maybe fall below his standards from previous years?
Well, I still think he'll still be top scorer, top assister. Still get the most chance created. He'll still do all of that. Maybe not as much as he used to, but he'll still get it because he's still the best player in La Liga. He'll still get the goals and assists. And
Okay.
I still think he'll get the individual awards that he usually gets.
All right. Zinon, what do you expect from Messi at Barcelona in his final season? Do you still think he'll still get Pichichi and still say what's up?
All right, just to make sure, I don't want to make this. Can you hear me now? Podcast, but can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. So in terms of trophies, I don't think my mindset coming into this season was we were not going to win any trophy. So coming into this, I think Messi's going to give us the creativity and the goal scoring that we need in terms of clinical finishers, because we don't have a lot of those. And Ansu Fati's out, and Griezmann, if he's on form, can be that, but you can't rely on him for long stretches of the season. In terms of what Messi could provide to us is what he has been providing to us, and what he can is just creativity and goal scoring. But I don't think in terms of winning a trophy or going out with a trophy, I don't think that's possible. Our best chance of doing that has passed by in the Spanish Super Cup. In the Copa del Rey, there's a chance we could win it, but there's also a chance we could draw against a team that's just built right for us, because we seem to struggle with teams that have a 4-4-2 formation. We tend to struggle with a low block teams. We can't seem to find a solution to that. And part of that is down to just the team not having clinical finishers when we find those chances, and not having the creativity aside from Messi and aside from what has been a little bit from De Jong and other players. But I don't think we can. I don't think we could win the Copa del Rey unless we get the best possible option. So I don't see him going out with any trophies. I just see him do a performance, and that's about it.
Okay. Sean, what about you? Messi, what do you think Messi does in his final season?
Realistically, I think in terms of just goals and assists, I think he already has 14 goals in all comps, if you count the Champions League, 11 in the league. So I think realistically he can hit 22 to 25 goals in all competitions if he starts, being a little more clinical again. But in terms of winning things, your best bet is the Copa del Rey. You have Cornea on Thursday, which should be easy. If you can't beat them without Messi, then the club should just capitulate.
Wait. Is that the same team that knocked out Atletico?
Yeah, but Atletico are a bunch of memers. I can't believe, A, that's hilarious how they lost that, and B, how they're dominating La Liga. It's annoying at the same time. But yeah, the best chance is Copa del Rey, because it's a single leg, and then we can kind of luck our way through it. The league, there's no way we could be consistent, and here's why we can't be consistent. It's because we don't have enough width. We don't have enough width when when you're missing a left winger and Fati, and then Dembele is so inconsistent and cuts in a lot. The issue with Dembele is that he'll cut inside into pressure when he can go out wide and take players on and stretch the back line. When he cuts inside, he's only making it even more difficult for our central players to be creative because it cuts the space. And that's the issue with Barca. There's no spacing. And when Dembele goes out left, then Serginho Dest will go out right, and then Serginho has no right winger to play with because Messi cuts inside. And then Griezmann comes inside. And then Pedri comes inside. And then when Coutinho's out there, they come inside. And using a 4-2-3-1, which Koeman has used, doesn't work. The 4-3-3.
No, actually, we'll get there because that's like a separate thing. But just, do you still expect Messi to still ball out
of course,
in his final season for Barca?
Even though he hasn't been clinical, his finishing is regressed. I don't know what the reason is for his finishing, but his overall play, like, it's synonymous to last year. It's not 2018, 2019, but it's like what he does individually is kind of unparalleled. Only Neymar, when he's healthy, can compete with that. But the issue is he's not scoring. So he can do everything else, but if you're going to keep relying on him, it's going to be very difficult. So individually, he's always going to be the best player on the pitch, barring a few games. So we'll see.
Sam is just joining us. What do you expect from Messi in his final season for Barca? Do you still expect him to ball out, to go crazy, or you think that he'll just do what he has to do, go through the motions, and then peace?
First of all, I don't know what you guys have been talking about. I don't think this will be Messi's final season by any means. I think, first of all, I think Messi will evaluate in the summer and probably stay at Barcelona because he thinks it's better for the club. But
so you actually think Messi's going to stay? Okay.
I actually think that yes, because I think he will have two choices. Either he can stay with the club. He knows the clubs need him. He loves Barcelona, and I think he will stay in the club because he wants to kind of help it, because he sees if he leaves, the club will probably go under. Like, we will play shit.
Okay.
So I think he cares more about the club than himself. But going with your question, if he leaves, if this is last season, I still think Messi is going to win the Golden Boot. I still think he's going to win the assist because Messi is Messi. I mean, that's the least he does. So, of course, I think he's going to be the best player in La Liga, like always. Best player in the world, in fact.
Okay.
Nothing's going to change.
Now, let's now get to what I really want to actually ask you guys now. So, I've always said this, and I'm so glad that you guys are here, because this is a question I've always wanted to ask. Post-Messi. So let me just give you a little background of this. There's always been a lineage for Barcelona. So, Romario, then it went to Rivaldo, then it went to Ronaldinho, then it went to Messi, then it was supposed to be from Messi to Neymar. I've always said this to Barcelona fans, that you have to be fearful of the post-Messi era. Because if Messi does leave this summer, there isn't a superstar that exists. I think the Neymar to Barcelona thing, I think that bridge has already passed. And if you're looking at the landscape of things right now, what is the superstar that will now try to fill the void of a Messi? Because I don't think either Griezmann or my guy, the Us, can really step up and be the kind of superstar main man that Messi was for Barca, that Cristiano was for thingy, Neymar was for so forth, here and so forth, or what the guys from yesterday was, like a Rivaldo, Romario, Ronaldinho. So how fearful are you of the post-Messi era of Barcelona without a Lionel Messi and not actually having a superstar to build around? Or do you think that Barcelona should now go into this era where they're much more team focused, like Atletico, rather than relying on having to have this kind of generational superstar in the team? So the question is, how fearful are you of the post-Messi era? Z-Man? All right. Kule, how fearful are you of the post-Messi era?
Oh no. Oh man. Because the thing about losing Messi is we lose literally our entire fear factor. Because I feel like once Messi goes, it's like, who's going to fear us? Nobody's going to fear us. So yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be very rough, and like, I think.
So do you think that Barca have to try and aggressively look for a superstar, or they have to just change their mindset and just focus more on team?
Well, we are a team that is known for having superstars. Like we said earlier, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho. We usually play more as a team, but we usually have that one player that is very instrumental. So I think what we can do now is we have two options. We can look to what we have currently in the team, or we can go and buy somebody. And buying players hasn't been working out for us. So looking at the team, I think the two people that are closest to Messi, I think the closest to like taking up that mantle is either Ansu Fati or Pedri. I think those are the two players that I see is like, okay, if I'm going to give the number 10 to anybody, I would give them to either one of them. And I think they have the potential, but it's gonna take a lot of pressure. It's gonna take a lot of time, and not only that, like once you have that number 10, like you're marked. Like you are literally marked. Like look at what's happening with look at because the number 10 it means it holds weight.
It's
Like there
it's
is
it's
weight.
it's a very heavy shirt. It's a very heavy shirt.
Yeah, like look at Real Madrid right now with Ronaldo. Like they gave the number 7 to Mariano, who didn't fill the shoes at all, and then they give it to Hazard, who has not shown to
Yeah,
live
yeah,
up
okay,
to
we
it.
get it. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah.
he's trash. He's trash.
I'm not saying that. Hey, you said that. You said
Okay,
that. I
okay,
didn't say
okay,
that.
okay. All right, okay. So are you fearful?
Yes, I'm praying. I'm fearful. I will literally go back to church and I will start praying again because like I can't. I don't want to. Because bro, we may be like Arsenal. Like literally in the Copa del Rey, without Messi, we were literally on level with Sociedad. We were literally on level with Sociedad. Like we were literally equal to them on every sense, every field. So like yeah, like we are going to need saving grace
Oh, okay.
if we're going to get through.
Damien, talk to me. Post Messi era, how fearful are you?
Oh, obviously, I'm very fearful of not having that superstar next after Messi, because obviously we're a club that obviously had that one dude that was different from the rest of the pack. So obviously I'm fearful. Obviously we have Fati, who's sadly injured. He'll come back in end of February, so hopefully he can get back into form once he comes back. So we have him, but I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I feel like we have to wait for him to develop. Um, I think that you see the thing is I I feel like we should start leaving our ways of not of being more of a team, and yeah, like being more of a team and not having like relying on one player and being more of a team effort. And I feel like we should start breaking away from that philosophy that we always had. And look, um, what? Is,
Hello?
oh, sorry.
Okay, okay. Actually, okay, maybe let me bring in Sam. Let me bring in Sam. Sam, talk to me. Post Messi era, how fearful are you?
You mentioned like we had Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Messi, all these big names, like the central guy in the club, yeah. But you have to remember, we made those players the central guys. We created those players, kind of. Not Ronaldinho, but
let's
we
let's
made him.
let's
Yeah.
keep it real. Romario, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, these guys were independently known as amazing talents. You see, now that I agree in terms of a Javi or a Iniesta, they were molded in the Barca system, and maybe to a degree, I would say Messi. But even with Messi, there are certain guys who, with or without Barcelona, they're just special talents. So maybe
Yeah.
Barca maximized them, but Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, thinking even if they were not for Barcelona, they would still be seen as one of the best, most exceptional talents in the world.
Yeah, but you have to remember, when we had R9 and those kind of players, we weren't a really good team. We were a good team like in the 2010 era, not in like 2000. We weren't that good of a team back then. Okay, now we're a good team, and you have to remember, Messi wasn't always the main man. He was like a system player and became the main man. I think the same could happen to like some players like Ansu Fati. Maybe not Pedri, because Pedri, he looks still like a system player in the way he plays. But Ansu Fati really looks like a player that can carry a team because he has great individual talents and he plays such a mature football. for a guy his age. Look at just at Vinicius Junior. That guy is so immature in his play. He just dribbles all the time. But
Yeah. I mean,
Ansu Fati is really mature in his play. He dribbles when he has to dribble. He shoots when he has to shoot, and he like passes when he has to pass. He knows the game. That's why Ansu Fati is more of a. He can become like the main man, but in time. And I wouldn't give the number 10 shirt to like anybody right now if Messi leaves. Because like you said, it's a lot of weight in that shirt. Probably wait a couple of years and then probably hand it out to somebody. But I think some of you underestimate Ricky Puig as well. That's a really good talent.
No. But my thing is, are you? Because we'll get to the youngsters, but are you fearful of Barca without Messi? Not just without Messi, but without a superstar to fill the void.
I'm not fearful, but I'm quite. How do I say this? I'm quite surprised, but the thing is, we always have like a superstar in the modern era of Barcelona. We have both like big names: Suarez, Griezmann, Dembele, etc. I would like to see how Barcelona plays without a superstar. I would like to see how we do that time, because if we bring in Xavi is gonna. I think it's better for him if he gets a team with more inexperienced players. It would fit him quite better instead of players with big names. Because Xavi himself is an inexperienced manager, and I think it would be better for him if he played like a inexperienced team with him. I mean, look at Tigges at the end. He played with like the big stars and he flopped. So I think with not a big name manager, but with not big name players, it could be quite a good combination, I think.
Sean, where are you at with post Messi? Fearful, hopeful?
In the short term, it'll be kind of weird and difficult. But I mean, as time progresses, you as a club, you're gonna have as time goes on, you're gonna have the financial stability to bring in more stars. And if you develop smartly the current players, and I don't think Koeman's good for the long term. If you get another manager in for the long term with going in with our next president's long term plan, you can completely rebuild. I'm not saying we're gonna go in decline like Milan did for that long, to then they're finally getting back up, but I think it's gonna be a 2 to 3 year stretch where it's going to be difficult, where people won't fear us or clubs won't fear us as much. It's going to take time, but eventually we're going to get back. And this is the thing with, I think in all sports, when it comes to a superstar leaving, you look at LeBron in the NBA, you look at Jordan, then you look at in football, Ronaldinho leaving, and there's always going to be another avenue to succeed. And I think that Barcelona are such a big club. A lot of young, talented players are always going to want to play for this club just because of the name and the brand and what it represents. And I think that moving forward,
so you still think that? So you still feel Barca still have that pull?
Of course they will. It's Barcelona. Of course they will. These big clubs will always have that pull. And you look at United. Look at the decline United went through for a 4 to 5 year period. They still pulled big names. They still got Pogba. He was a big name when he came in. It was 89 million he came in for. So you're always going to have pull when you have the sort of fan base, and you can, if you're a young, ambitious, talented player, you have the possibility to be one of the main catalysts going forward for the club to put them back into the elite class. So I think that's what a lot of players want to do, and just playing for Barcelona in itself looks amazing on your CV, and that's why I'm not too concerned for the long-term future. But in next year, if Messi does leave this summer, next year Barca aren't winning anything at all and won't win anything for maybe 2 to 3 more years. But over time we can. And if you look at Real Madrid, they lost Ronaldo. In the Champions League they suffered, but what did they do?
They won the league,
They won the league. 2 years after they won the league. So, and they might even win it again this year if Atletico begin to start dropping points with their classic 0-0s for the next 10 to 15 games, but we'll see.
All right. So now let's get to our good friend here. So, Griezmann. So here's my thing, and I have like a sort of a revelation to make. So I believe that Griezmann is the biggest flop of all time, or has to have to be put to being as one of the biggest flops of all time, because
That's cap.
Yeah, because my calculation was money paid and what you got back in return. But looking at how
you guys buy Kepa, that's a bigger flop.
No. But for me, look, please don't even mention Chelsea right now. Please, I'm trying. This is like my cleansing period here. I don't want to hear anything about Lampard or Chelsea. Please, I beg you. Thank you.
Okay.
But my thinking is that you could make a strong argument for Eden Hazard, because I think for Hazard, again, for amounts paid, Hazard has literally done nothing for Real Madrid. While as a Griezmann at least has had a few glimpses. But let's just focus more on Griezmann. So my thing is, just to begin with, ask one of you, did you want Griezmann? Did you see how Antoine Griezmann could have helped the team? Did you see a way in which, okay, if we get this Griezmann, he could somehow maybe contribute and really help take Barcelona to the next level? And looking at what Griezmann has done so far, do you still think that he is worth building the team around in Messi's absence? Do you still think that there is still a way in which he can fit into the team and be effective? Or are you a case of, nah, man, screw this dude, man. This guy isn't worth fighting for. He isn't really worth breaking your neck for. And he is pretty much a waste, and there's no point in trying to think that this guy can ever be a superstar that is worth building a team around. So, conference to Sam, your assessment on Griezmann.
Okay. Before we go to Griezmann, I need to explain. When we bought, for example, Ousmane Dembele, I thought, okay, he can fit perfectly in our team. We need just his position, a winger. He'll probably go perfectly in the team. And then when we bought Coutinho, I think, okay, we need a Iniesta type of player that can come into the midfield and play really good in the midfield. Then when we bought Griezmann, just like you said, I didn't get it. Okay, I didn't get why we bought him. We had Suarez at the time. I think he was injured, or he got injured after. We had, I don't know what we had, but the thing is, I wanted like a young striker that could take over Suarez in a couple of years. But Griezmann, he isn't, first of all, not the traditional number 9 that we need. And he is more like a striker that plays like Messi. I don't know how to explain it, but he is not the personnel that we need. But I think Bartomeu signed him just because came in the top 3 Ballon d'Or one year. I think they said in an interview as well, we have right now the best player in the world, Messi, and the 3rd best player in the world, Antoine Griezmann. He actually said that. So,
wow.
But the reason I don't think it's the biggest flop is because when we signed him, just like I said, I had already bad expectations. For me, when you have already bad expectations for a signing, that's not a flop because you know it's going to be trash. A flop is someone that you buy, you think is going to be good, and then he's not. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a flop. Because he's been okay in recent years, recent months, I would say. But that's my say on Griezmann.
So do you still have hope that Griezmann can still contribute for Barcelona?
Yeah, of course. I think he has played pretty well in the recent games, so I think he has potential to be good. But we need to change the system first, and that kind of stuff. Because I would rather play actually Ansu Fati than Griezmann right now if he comes back. I put him over in the pecking order. So yeah.
Kule, where do you stand with Griezmann?
Griezmann. Well, the thing about Griezmann. Okay, so in the beginning when we got Griezmann, I had high expectations for him because 100 million plus the World Cup, plus all he's done in La Liga. I was thinking, so this is the guy that we are going to get for Suarez. This is supposed to be the guy that we're going to play over Suarez because Suarez was in decline. But then watching him play, it's like this guy doesn't play as a number 9. He plays more as a creative player. He plays more as a cam, like a 10. But the thing is, we have Messi, and nobody's playing creative. Nobody's going to be the creative number 10 if we have Messi. So that was not going to happen. And he can't play as a winger. He can't run up space, do all the winger shit. So it's like that we literally had no position for him that he would fit in, and we put him in every side. So yeah, I think Griezmann so far, it's not good, but at the same time, it can always get better. Because the thing is, recently he has been performing well. He performed for us in the last game.
But how consistent is he? Do you think you can get boom?
That's the thing. Consistency. I think he is way more inconsistent than Coutinho by far. Like the guy has, I think like
I disagree. I disagree by that. By the way,
well, less or more, but like
I
I
mean,
think that
Coutinho doesn't have him in like Coutinho's bad games are more than his good games. I think
that's
Griezmann
true.
had at least Griezmann has a couple of good games where he score goals. Coutinho
Well,
takes the ball and has it like for a half an hour, then he passes it. So
well, the thing with Coutinho is that at least he had a decent first season, I would say, but like his second season when we were in the Champions League,
yeah,
he did not come up at all.
yeah, I agree.
But back to what I was saying, Griezmann is a very hot and cold player. You expect him to see he scores 2 goals in one game, and the next 3 games he may go silent. And I think that another thing is his behavior. Like I think this game, like last game, he found his confidence, but I think it was immediately destroyed by the defense.
Mm.
So yeah, I would say Griezmann, he needs a system. He needs to actually have a position where he's like, okay, you are in this position.
But that's my thing is that is he good enough changing the system to fit him in? Would you say, okay, boom, he's worth us changing the system to cater for him based on what you think that he can provide for the team?
Well, he has to, because we spent 100 million on this guy. Like we have to get something out of him, because if not, the whole thing is a bust. So yeah, like we have to. It's not a matter. So yeah.
Damien, where do you stand on the whole Griezmann thing?
Well, when he first signed, I was a little confused of like how we're gonna play him, because we don't have that support striker. Because Suarez at the time, he doesn't play that way. He plays like traditional number 9. Just score goals. Doesn't really link up. Well, he does kind of with Messi, but he's not that type of striker to do that. And I thought the money was just wasted, because at that time we needed him like that midfielder, and preferably I wanted Pogba at that time, and when we got him, no, he's good.
No.
Yeah, and that time, and then that time I was like, okay, I'll give him a season and see how this pans out. First season I was like, it's looking like a flop already, and then second season I'm like, it's the same thing again. It's just not working out. Recent games he has been playing well. Kind of sucks for him when he scored that brace, and sadly we lost, and that was probably one of his best games in the Barca shirt. But I think moving forward, I think sooner or later we just have to sell him. I don't think this is just gonna work. I mean, maybe if Messi leaves, it'll free him up, and maybe he could like take on that seniority role in the team. So yeah, but I don't know what's the plan with Griezmann anymore. Like, are we gonna keep him when Messi leaves, or we're gonna sell him and like keep Messi? Like, I don't get it. Like, what we're gonna do in the after this?
So if Messi, because that's the thing. So if, let's say, Messi leaves, would you, and look, Messi's not there, so boom, you now have to now change. Would you now change the formation to now suit him? So obviously 4-4-2, he's a support striker, and he now play on the counter attack.
Well, we're obviously gonna have to get another striker, because Braithwaite cannot be still the number 9. Moving forward, I mean, Jesus Christ.
I disagree.
Yeah. Nah,
It's goat weight. It's goat weight, bro.
Easy. Nah, bro, but yes. Maybe if we had like, I don't know, maybe if we had like Lukaku type of player, maybe if that could work.
Oh, please no. That's another Suarez.
Nah, bro. Lukaku's good, bro.
So
I mean, he's more clumsy than Suarez, so no, thank you.
So basically, you still have hope for Griezmann. You wouldn't sell Griezmann if you like have the opportunity to.
Well, you know what? Actually, yeah, I wouldn't sell Griezmann. If Messi leaves, then yeah, I'll keep him and see if we can do a different way, and see if he can perform that way and give us something else different.
Okay. What's it called? Sean, Griezmann assessment.
No, I think we should keep him for a couple more years when Messi leaves, because he can do. No, I'm not saying he can do similar. Okay, well, he plays in this in a similar role. And what Griezmann is good at, I think, contrary to what I think it was Damien, you said that he's not good at link up play and build up play. I totally disagree. I think he is. I think that he's better suited as a player that is more focused on linking up and combining and then being on the end of chances afterwards. I think that's what made him successful as a support striker, and I think that's what made him successful in Athletic for France, being that player that can drop into different kind of unique positions as a striker and carry the ball forward and make plays while also scoring. I think he has that ability. The issue is that with Griezmann and Messi on the field at the same time, you're asking two players that play similar positions to do the same sort of things, or at least asking Griezmann to do things that he never normally did in the past. Same with Messi. You can't do that. It was one of the most moronic buys in the history of our club, thanks to Bartomeu.
So you would have never bought Griezmann?
No, I mean, if Messi wasn't there, then yeah, I think he's a quality player. But when Messi is there, you just don't do it. You get players that, you want more wide players. And firstly, we should have sorted out our defensive issues anyways, but prior to that, So, and in terms of, I think somebody said Braithwaite, obviously Braithwaite should go. He's not a Barcelona caliber player. He's a solid player, a mid-table La Liga level player, but he's not a consistent player for Barcelona. He's had some good moments for us. But that's mainly because our standards and expectations have dropped so far. That's why he's had those moments. And in the comment section, Josh Jones wanted a shout out. I'll give him, he's my number one fan, so I appreciate it. I'll give you a little shout out. And I also want to give Vilton a shout out as well for being, I don't want to say that. I mean, because when you listen to Vilton, he's a big Real Madrid fan. You listen to him talk about Barcelona, like you want to find a way for your connection to diminish. Like you don't want to have internet connection when he speaks. Either the mute button isn't working for a lot of you, but I hope it does. There was this segment, I think, on the last, it was about Barcelona and Messi, and the way he was rambling on, I honestly couldn't tell if it was him or my brother who watches basketball and he's like 15. Like it was
wow.
It was just
Wilson, shots fired, bro.
And then it's because the reason why I'm doing that is because he called me out. He called me out on your last podcast, and I thought for a second, why would you do that? Because if I was there, you would just keep your mouth shut, dude. And he's a funny guy, but some of the things he says are just, whew, my God. But yeah, back to Griezmann. Yeah, keep him for 2 more years when Messi leaves.
All right, so now let's go to.
Can I say something about Griezmann quick?
Go for it.
I forgot one thing. One good thing with Griezmann that Coutinho and Dembele that all players don't have, that at least he gives 100% every game he plays, and he doesn't complain like the other ones do. Coutinho complains every time. Vidal complained every time, but Griezmann, he takes everything to the field. He gives 100% every time, and he just shut off the field. That's what I like about him a lot, actually.
Okay, so let's now go to our favorite Dutch friend here, man. So here's the thing. Ronald Koeman. I think a lot of guys have blamed the shortcomings of Barcelona this season on Koeman. And I've said that his management style, his tactics, substitutions, how he's using players has resulted in Barcelona losing games. It's not really about the team. We'll get to the team and some of the players. It's really more to do with Koeman. I think Koeman is a pretty good coach. And if the Euros had happened last year, I think Holland were a very interesting team to watch under him. I think it would have been interesting if Barca had sold Messi, Koeman had received that money, and Koeman was given the agency and the freedom to rebuild a Barcelona team from scratch in his image. I think that would have been very interesting to see based on just what he did with Netherlands. Of course, he didn't do so well with Everton and so forth, but with what he did with the Netherlands, with better quality players he had at his disposal, and if he brought in Depay and Wijnaldum, I think it would have been interesting to see what he could have done. So my thing is just to see where you guys stand with a Koeman on this, because I think that Koeman, you can always link Koeman in with Valverde. I always said for Barcelona, are you sure you want to sell Valverde? Because the notion was, Valverde is the issue. If you sell Valverde, everything will be fine. And what Valverde showed was, bro, I am managing the F out of this man. Like, there's Xavi, Iniesta, these dudes are not here anymore. These players who were at their peak, who are the very best, are not here anymore. And I am tasked with getting results. I'm not tasked with playing the Barca way for the sake of doing it. I'm tasked winning trophies and trying to get results with the players I have at my disposal. So let me come to Sam first with this. So Sam, are you with Koeman, without Koeman, and how much would you say Koeman is to blame for Barca's struggles this season? Oh, sorry, Koeman. Sorry, Sam.
I think people are really, really harsh on Koeman right now. I don't know. I think Koeman is a pretty good coach. And remember, I think Koeman knew he's going to stay here about a year. But the bigger picture is not if Koeman is good or not. He will leave at the end of the season, no matter what, really. But I think he's done an okay job. I think the only thing he needs to work on is his substitute, because he has a lot of agendas on a lot of players right now. For example, Ricky Puig, but you guys probably already talked about it already. But I think overall, pretty decent. I think he's done like most of that he could do. The results, maybe many individual errors. I think our backline is really shaky sometimes. And the thing you said with Valverde, I completely agree with you, actually, because if you told me 2 years ago that, I wouldn't agree with you, because I really hated Valverde at the time. But now when I think about it, he actually overperformed with a lot of games, and he did the job. So I agree with Valverde, not with Setien though. He was trash. But I think Koeman,
Okay, so if Koeman was to leave at the end of this year, you'd be like, oh, that's fine. Or would you say, let's give Koeman a chance with some money to try and build this team? Or are you like, nah, he's not the right long-term solution for Barcelona?
Of course, we have to wait till the end of the season to see that. But right now, what I could say right now is I want the new president to come, to have a plan. To have a plan, like he already has his manager. He knows, okay, I need this manager with these players, So if his vision doesn't count Koeman in his plans, then Koeman needs to go. Simple as that. But my dream scenario would be Koeman stays another year and Xavi takes a assistant coach position in the team. That would be my dream scenario in this case.
Okay. Kule, thoughts on Koeman?
Koeman. To be honest, though, you have to show respect for Koeman. Like he was in a good. He decided to leave his Dutch his job as a Dutch coach to be in Barcelona during a time when we were having major issues. This is the back of the 8-2, and he decided to come in, and I think that merits respect. But I think looking at it all right now, it's not good. Because the thing with Koeman is he's a very attacking coach. He wants to play attacking. That's why he played the 4-2-3-1 at the beginning, where we had 4 attackers and 2 midfielders. Now we've come back to 4-3-3. But the thing is, our defense is not getting better. Our defense is not getting better at all. And I don't know how. But we had the same issues we've been having back in Liverpool or back against Roma, where like we cannot defend set pieces. We cannot defend. Wait, can you guys hear me?
No. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So,
Yeah.
so is that a case of personnel or coaching, the defensive stuff?
It's just like we still have. I think I don't think he's meaningfully done a good job kind of going out again for the defense. Well, like we've seen him make changes though. With PK being injured, we've seen the likes of Araujo and Mengueza, but still we have the same exact issues. We cannot defend set pieces, and Alba is still a brick. And Alba, like this guy, he can't defend. So the defense is a massive issue, and I don't see him doing enough to respond to that. But yeah, right now I would say I wouldn't sack Koeman if I was the president. I would wait. I would still wait for the president to see what they would do. But if I was the president, I would not sack Koeman. I would still give him another year. I would give him by next 2021 winter and see how we do. And if we're not good, then I'd probably let him go. But right now, I think we're doing fine. We're still in 3 competitions. We're still in the Champions League. We're still in La Liga. We're still in Copa del Rey. I don't think we're gonna win 2 of those, but well, let's see what happens.
Wait. So you think we should sack him mid-season next winter?
I'd say give him until that, and then see what we can do. Like I wouldn't sack him.
Isn't that even worse if we sack him mid-season?
No,
Like
no, no.
with CDM?
I'm not, I wouldn't sack him. I would say make that decision on whether to
Okay.
continue on with him. Like I would say give him like a free, not like a free pass, but give him like until that season, and then consider whether we're gonna continue on with him with the other note with 2022 or just say nah.
Okay.
What's it called? Damien Koeman.
I wish Cassius was here. Me and him would have been ripping into Koeman. Where do I start with him? First, I think he's not that good as people think. He's a good little young player development coach, but his game management is very very poor. This guy does not know how to hold on to 1-0 leads, and us as a club should not even be in a position to hold on to 1-0 leads. And his substitutions have not been great.
I got a question for you. Do you think it's him that doesn't know how to hold 1-0 leads, or the team? Maybe it's because of the mentality of the team.
Well, as us, the attack we have, we should be able to score more than one goal in one game. We shouldn't have just won 1-0 against Huesca. Huesca, I'm talking about. So
Yeah, I agree.
and then we lost to Cadiz, which we shouldn't have lost. Well, that was mainly more defensive mistakes, but we should not have drawn against Valencia 2-2. He was trying to hold on to a 2-1 lead, which we shouldn't have been in that position. And I think that long term, I don't think he's the solution. Short term, I think in the summer, we should look into other options, because I don't think he's the answer long term.
All right, Sean Koeman.
I mean, based off of what we had to do with Setien and getting rid of him as quickly as possible, I think it was a fine decision in the moment, and I think give him one season and see how things kind of progress, see how he does in the cup, and see if we can hopefully at least get second, at least be above Real Madrid in the league. And if we get past PSG, then he's labeled some pretty great things by the media, pundits, and a lot of fans. So in this reactionary culture, it's going to be tough to kind of judge him, this early on, especially with an unmotivated superstar, at least from what it seems, and then a bunch of different young players kind of coming into the fray, and the issue with Ricky Puig, which is on him. So it's kind of difficult to really, really judge him. I guess the one critique you can have of him is his stubbornness. I think the fact that he was really trying to use the 4-2-3-1 early on, I'm trying to utilize what he was doing in Holland and trying to bring it here, wasn't going to work out, especially when you have Busquets there as well, who is as slow as molasses, and his defensive mids in Holland were always working extremely hard. So there was a very different construct to the team.
I disagree with you, by the way.
About which part?
Well, I think if a manager comes in, he should bring out his ideas to the team. That's why we appointed from the beginning. There's no point appointing a manager that will adapt to the team. The team should adapt to the manager.
Well,
so I think it was good that he brought his formation. He did try, but it didn't work. So I mean, I'm happy at least he tried, because that's his philosophy. I mean, we signed him for that reason. So
no, I agree with you that you're gonna bring a manager and you want him to utilize do what he's known for, right? That's why you brought him in. I agree with that. But the issue is that he kept it for quite a long time, and I think
as he should.
The thing I don't
see this way. Sorry, this is where it now gets tricky. See, because you're both right. I think, Sam, you're right in the sense of, if you've looked at your shortlist and said, I'm going to get this manager, and you've interviewed him, you're getting this manager because of his philosophy and how he views the game. But Sean is also right that the end goal is win games. So as a manager, you have to realize that, okay, if my philosophy isn't working, I need a plan B, plan C, or whatsoever to utilize what I have just to get a result. And you can't live and die by your philosophy if your philosophy isn't getting results, because you're not hired just to utilize your philosophy. You're hired to win games, ultimately. Obviously, we believe your philosophy can win games, but the end goal specifically is to win games. So, Sean.
But Koeman he wasn't always a 4-2-3-1 kind of manager throughout his career. He did so with Holland, more specifically Holland. And the reason why he did that is because he had the personnel for it. The issue is that you don't have the personnel for it at Barcelona. So he was not always using the 4-2-3-1, Sammy, everywhere he's been. He used that in Holland on a national team level where the chemistry where he's going up against other nations that don't have the same sort of chemistry as club teams do. It's a completely different ballgame club-wise. So what you have to do at club level, you have to adapt. You have to adapt more quickly because there's more games. There's midweek games. There's games. There's 3 games a week possibly. So that's why you have to adapt quickly. And when you're getting all this heat, you're put into a situation where you have to act quickly. He should have maybe tried the 4-3-3 a little sooner. And if you're going to use the 4-2-3-1, if you're going to use it, why not try Ricky Puig? I know the physical demands. People don't think he has it because he's really small and frail. But every time Ricky Puig,
He doesn't fit the formation quite really.
He can play a 4-2-3-1. He can't.
Because he's not a defensive midfielder and he's not a 10. So where does he fit?
What do you mean? He can play as a 6 or an 8. And guess what? A 4-2-3-1 doesn't. You don't have to play very defensive with it. You can have one of the defensive mids.
Yeah, but if you look at
Ricky Puig,
yeah,
so you can. It doesn't have to be a 4-2-3-1 where it's like you're set in this specific structure in these positions. You have to do exactly that. No, you can kind of like have a mini hybrid of it. You don't. This is what I mean with adapting, and this is what I think managers have to be able to adapt. And this is why the top managers that go to different leagues and are always successful, regardless of what checkbooks they're getting and how many players they get, they always tend to adapt. The reason why Koeman was sacked in Valencia early on, he didn't adapt. The reason why at Everton didn't work out as well as it could have, he didn't adapt. Holland, it was working out, but he decided to bail on it for the prospect of Barcelona. And he went into this mess knowing it was going to be a mess, and he still had the audacity to use his stubborn tactics and keep them knowing that you have a game every 3 days and you're not changing it. And you're also telling one of the one of the most promising players that has come up from La Masia and Ricky Puig, and you're telling him, hey, either leave or sit on the bench. How are you going to tell that to someone?
I agree with you with some parts, but okay, first of all, you said he's playing as he did in Holland and he didn't play 41 in other teams but doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, he's going to play where he succeeded. He succeeded in Holland, so he's going to play the way he played in Holland. That's just facts. He's not going to play the way he failed at Everton, right? So, and secondly, I think we look at his Holland team. He had De Jong and Wijnaldum, okay, in the defensive part, okay? De Jong, he has in Barcelona, so that's cool, okay? He has exact same player. That's perfect for him. He didn't get Wijnaldum that he tried to get. So what he tried to do with a compromise. So Ricky Puig is nowhere near the same player as Wijnaldum, but Pjanic and Busquets kind of are. Not exactly, but they can still adapt because they're experienced players. Puig, it's gonna take a while for him to adapt, and he's not really physical. He can't really defend that well. I can see I don't agree with him, but I can see what he was trying to say to Puig. But I don't agree with him. I still think Puig should play. I'm with you. I'm still think that,
But here's where the physical aspect kind of where I tend to disagree here. When you're saying using Wijnaldum in a defensive position because of his physicality, and then you're saying, oh, you can use these experienced players such as Busquets and Pjanic who are in their 30s to have a similar role, it doesn't make sense.
Because they know how to adapt. They know how to adapt.
It doesn't matter how well you can adapt mentally. If you're not there physically, how can you play that role? And believe it or not, Pjanic and Busquets are not as quick as Ricky Puig. They're just not. And
I agree.
Puig is a better work rate. So if you're going to say those players can play that role, well, Puig can actually play a defensive mid role better than Busquets can, at least at this stage in his career, for a 4-2-3-1 perspective, not in a red perspective.
But again, I just want to just keep it on Koeman mainly. Do you feel that Koeman just is not the right long-term guy moving forward?
Of course he isn't. Of course, where has he been long-term successfully long-term? Where? You have to have some sort of precedence with that. You want to get managers that have long-term success. Well, if you don't, then you look at Mourinho and Pep, but they win trophies right when they get there usually. So that's not a comparison. The point is you need a manager that has the long-term sustained success with the club if you think that he can do a long-term role, or at least have a president with a vision that is in line with your manager's principles. It's that simple. What Barca do is they rationally spend and they plug in holes just because there's a hole, as opposed to creating a new foundation, right? Creating roots to grow upon and then creating actual branches. They just fill in things with artificial fucking trees. It doesn't, sorry, my language. They don't make sense. They make stupid decisions consistently. And then what it does, it puts more pressures on your star players, and then they want out. And then you have this for lack of a better word, non-communication between the club and the players. And look at Setien, complete irrational hire. And then there was a article that just came out. Messi and Suarez at the Celta Vigo game said they thought he was the worst manager that they've ever had at the club.
I disagree with Setien, by the way. I think Setien had different problems. The thing
No,
Koeman has the thing that Setien doesn't have.
Messi and Suarez literally said that they think he's the worst manager.
Messi and Suarez are really stubborn players in the first place.
Who is that? Setien or Koeman?
Setien. What the point was to make a point that Barcelona irrationally spend money on specific managers and specific players to fill holes that just won't be filled properly.
Yeah, no, because like see the Setien thing. I mean, even when because the Setien thing is related to Valverde. Because I remember when they got Setien in, and I remember like the first thing they said was, I want to try to bring back the Barcelona way, because he sort of understood the Barcelona way of playing and so forth. And I thought, and the assumption was because he knows the Barcelona way, they will not be successful, when it just shows a lack of understanding and appreciation of management. You can't just say, hey, if we play the way that we're successful before, we'll be successful. No. Everything has to be in tandem. Okay, yes, you have the philosophy, but do you have the players to utilize that philosophy? That the tiki-taka can't work without the metronome of Xavi, without the imagination and creativity of Iniesta, and without a younger, fitter Busquets in that DM role. So if you don't have the tools and so forth, that philosophy and that way of playing it's going to be very hard for you to execute that, man. So I want to just move on from that, because let's just try and bring this in. So elections. So now correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to just be clear. So was this the guy that hired Pep?
Yes, that's Joan Laporta.
Yes,
Laporta. So so Sandro Rosell was the guy that Pep fell out with.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So so basically, really, this was really the guy that really heralded that kind of the heydays and the heights of Barcelona, specifically from during that treble in the 08-09 season. But here's the thing, and this is where you have to now come at this objective and not be like sentimental merchants. This isn't 2009. It's 20. What year are we in? Is this 20? Oh, this is 2020. Wait, 2020 or 2021?
2021.
2021.
Oh my god! I think this whole lockdown has made me just lose track of the year. Okay, 2021. Fuck! Wow. Where are the freaking spaceships, man? So it's 2021. It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different world. It's football has changed. Football has evolved. Football has moved on from what it was before. So my thing is it as simple as, hey, well, let's bring in this president that was around through these years before? He's going to come in and he's going to change everything. He's going to bring back the oldest, because the Laporta thingy, even if not to the same extent, just listen to me, not to the same extent, I can see similarities with Setien. Now, let me explain. The hire of Setien, the ammunition behind that was, let's bring back the way that we used to play that led to that amazing success. Because Valverde wasn't on that. Valverde was trying to be a pragmatic manager. Screw pragmatism. Let's play the Barca way. That's the way that we know in which we destroyed teams. Laporta, this was the president, and this was the guy who brought in Pep Guardiola, our most successful, most revolutionary manager. But in a world where it's post-COVID, Messi has left, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, that's a very special group, a generational group that is going to be very hard to replicate. Laporta coming in, how excited are you? Let me come first to Sam on this. How excited are you for Laporta coming in, and how much do you think he can really change for Barcelona?
First of all, a president is not like a player or a manager. The year doesn't really matter where he comes in my opinion, because it's not like the same. He probably knows already how to manage a club. That's really basic stuff. In my opinion, I think probably, if you don't know, Laporta is the huge favorite to win the elections, because it's either him or Victor Font. I think most people are gonna vote Laporta because he's the safer option, because most people know him already. They have like success with him already. And Barca fans are right now, we kind of just want the safest right now. We don't want another Bartomeu 2.0. So I don't really care. I think everything except Bartomeu is really good. I think Bartomeu was the only exception that, for example, was a bad president. I think he's gonna come in, do his thing. I mean, he's a president. What can he do? He can just hire players and listen to the manager, hire sporting directors. That's
So no, it's because I'm just looking at people say that Laporta knows the way football game works. Laporta has my full trust. I just don't. Okay, but this is interesting. Just look at Perez. He's old. The next use is age. Hey, what the heck? Okay, I don't know what the guy's saying. But Perez. Now, people would argue that Perez is a key reason why Real Madrid are Real Madrid in terms of the Galacticos and so forth.
Yeah.
But do you think Laporta can have the same kind of effect that Perez has had for Real Madrid?
I think, first of all, I think a president in general doesn't have that much power that people think. Because it's not really the president that makes the sign. It's not really the president. He has an entire board around him that does decisions, first of all. Same with Perez. It isn't Perez that does every decision in Real Madrid. No. He has an entire board that helps him. I think it's going to same with Laporta. He's going to have an entire board that's going to help him. So it's probably, and you have to know that Laporta is extremely respected in Barcelona. That's why people say I put my trust in him and that he's extremely respected, and everyone likes Laporta. He's carried the Barca through our greatest period. I think around 2006 to 2011. I think, don't quote me, but yeah, something like that. So yeah.
Okay. Damien, your views on Laporta and what the effect he can have for Barcelona.
Oh, well, I love the guy. I have the most amount of respect for him. I just love him. But I had to put my sentiment aside. So obviously it's been quite a while since he left, So I am a little spectacle about him, but I still have the full trust of him to fully run this club back together and get us back on track to the glory days, or kind of that way. And I feel like, with the other candidate, Victor Font, look, it's not like I have respect for him, but I just don't think that. Look, I love Javi, but him bringing in Javi, I feel like I don't think that's the best idea,
bro. You're seeing what is happening again. I said I was not going to mention these dudes. You're seeing what's happening with Lampard and Chelsea, man. Be very careful with the whole Javi thing, bro.
Yeah, also with Pirlo
that's not the same,
and
though.
Juventus. No, it is the same.
No, it's not the same.
You're seeing with Pirlo and Juventus.
No, Xavi has a lot more managerial experience than both Lampard and Pirlo together.
Where? The Qatar
he has won
League?
he has won 4 trophies in Qatar League. Doesn't matter what league it is. He has managed a team and won in that league. It doesn't matter what league it is. Actually, it doesn't matter.
No. Yes,
No,
it does.
no.
Yes, it does. Because it's different standards. Now, yes, of course, he has better experience than Lampard, but at the end of the day, managing in La Liga is very different from managing in Qatar. Very different.
I understand that. Yes.
Because you're facing better teams and much better managers with much more evolved tactics. So it is similar in a sense of hiring Javi is a sentimental thing because everyone will love it. Everyone will be like, Javi will bring back the whole thing. And you're going to fall into the same trap of, yes, Javi, bring back the way that you used to play. But the players are not there. And Barca will just go back right into the same issues. So...
Yeah, and do you expect Javi to handle Messi? Do you really expect him to handle these superstars?
I think if anyone can handle Messi, it should be Xavi. He knows him better than anyone else.
I don't know why you guys are talking as if he's gonna stay.
It's different.
That's why you are literally making the same mistake that Chelsea are making, because it's like, this is guys say, Lampard is a smart player, he knows the game and so forth.
But don't get me wrong,
and management is different.
Yeah, I don't think Xavi will come in and win the 6-2. I don't think that. I think Xavi will come in and have a good long-term plan. that's why I think is the best option, because he has planned for this shit in his entire life. I think that actually. So that's why I think Xavi is probably one of the best options right now. But I don't think he's gonna come in and success at like directly success. I don't think that at all.
Okay. What's it called? Kool-Aid. Your thoughts, Koeman. No, sorry. Laporta. No, what effect it can have?
So Laporta, like there's a saying that I always like to remind myself. It's lightning doesn't strike twice. Like the thing about it is like you can have these miracles, but is it possible to recreate them again? Is it possible to kind of be like, okay, yeah, if we just do this again, well, everything will be fine. But the thing about it is, football back when Laporta was president, football was a different sport than what it is entirely what it is now. Football is entirely different. The way that fullbacks are used, the way that formation, the way that attacking, the way that the game is pressed, like football is entirely different. So so I'm curious to see what Laporta would do. But I think one of the strong aspects of Laporta's game is signing and also supporting La Masia, which is important because La Masia, we have a lot of players that are coming through, and I think some of them can be quality, some of them maybe not, but like players that that can be good use for the future, and we can save a lot of money instead of just buying around all these players. We can utilize players that we have in our own home ground, bring them in, and then try to work with them. Unlike before with Bartomeu, where it's just, oh, we need a new player, just spend $100 million on whoever, or oh, we need this, or just spend a bunch of players on players we don't need. So yeah, I think Laporta would be. I think out of all of them, Laporta is the better option. But the thing is, I would like to see who he appoints as manager, because I think we'll keep Koeman for a little bit, but I think after I want to see who he brings, because that thing that'll be massive. So yeah.
Let me say one thing though, and I think I agree with Colchoneros here, where he said that he'll 100% be better than Javi. That I agree with. Because the thing though is that, remember, Javi played as a central midfielder metronome. So for me, see, people say, oh, Lampard is a smart. No, no. Javi is generally had a high football IQ, and his football IQ was much higher than Lampard. Lampard was an attacking midfielder who scored loads of goals. Javi was a central midfielder, so his football IQ, there was a necessity for it to be at a greater level than a Lampard. So for that view, yes, I believe Javi has better knowledge of the game and a better idea of how to execute footballing ideas than Lampard based on the role that he played and how he played it. Sean, Laporta, talk to me.
I think if I had to choose, I would probably go with Victor Font because I think he wants to modernize the club moving forward. I think Laporta wants to go back to what we had in the past, and I think the modern game is a little different than it was 10 years ago. So I think that if you want to continuously improve and be on par with other clubs, you have to kind of modernize your approach and kind of get with the program. I'm not saying Laporte would be a bad option at all. I think anything you have from here on out, I mean, you could have Wilton be the president better than Bartomeu at this point. Like, I mean, that's how low the bar was. So there's a variety of things like that could go well. You have Victor Font. Okay, you're going for a completely new, fresh look. You have Laporte. Okay, you have some of the philosophies that you had in the past. You can bring to now. Both of them seem far more authentic. Both of them seem to be less corrupt, if corrupt at all, because I think that there's corruption in presidency all over clubs and sports in the world, regardless. But I think what Sammy was saying, he was saying how it doesn't really matter that much, and here's why I actually kind of agree with that. When you are president, it's hard for you to be in the dressing room, the locker room, on the field during training, and see things on a day-to-day basis. You can have a long-term approach, and you can appoint certain managers and players, but it's all speculation. Like, look at nobody. So you're saying, okay, look at Lampard, how he's struggling, and then look what Zidane did. Could you have anticipated three-peat for Real Madrid via Zidane, and can you have anticipated this capitulation by Lampard? You can look at Abramovich, and he's probably like, okay, look what Real Madrid did. They brought in a former player who knows the club well, and they won a three-peat. Why can't I do the same? Look at what Juve's doing.
Zidane is a fraud, by the way. Don't even mention him. He's a fraud.
Okay, the point is he was successful. Okay, he won 3 back to. Okay, listen, if he's a fraud, then 90% of the managers in their first 4 years are frauds.
He sure lost like 2 or 3 games there, but you continue.
Whatever. Okay, the point that I'm saying is that it's difficult to tell which president between the two, which candidate is going to be better in the future. But what Font was saying, and he had a little lash at Laporta, he said to Laporta that we can't go back to 2003. We just can't do that. Those were direct quotes from Victor Font. He said you have to continuously modernize your style. And I think that moving forward, that's the best way. And I think Laporta wants to hold on to this relationship with Messi, and he wants to really convince him to stay. And when you're putting all your eggs in one basket and you're really trying to convince a player that more or less doesn't know if he wants to stay or not, I think that you just have to go with Victor Font and see what he can do.
But let me just Perez, because I remember I was reading a story about Perez, and he personally went to Benzema's house, went to see him and his family, spent time with his family. So there was that kind of personable thing that he did to cultivate, or therefore.
I'm sorry, did you say Font with Xavi? Is that what you said?
No. Sorry, Perez.
Oh,
with Benzema, because he basically went to see Benzema personally. He flew over to France personally to meet with him and his family to just sort of make sure that, hey man, look man, this is I want to try and get you.
Are you trying to make some comparison with Laporte and Messi possibly? Is that...
No. I'm saying of like, do you think that the president can have that kind of effect of where, okay, let's just say, João Felix is now going to be the next big star and he's unhappy at Atletico Madrid. Do you think like a particular president could have an effect in convincing a João Felix to join a Barcelona?
Yes, of course.
I mean, yeah,
easily.
Why not? So presidents can have that sort of impact. But what I'm saying is in terms of how things are going to progress in the field, it's more down to the players. It's more down to the manager. It's far less... You think about it from any organization or structure, not just in football. If you look at any industry, you look at the CEO or the president, they implement a plan, right? But it is down to the managers, it is down to the day-to-day workers, it is down to them to take that plan forward. And it's always speculation whether whoever you hire, whatever industry, whatever organization, whatever club, whatever sport, whoever you hire fits in line with it. It's like difficult to really see. That's why I think that it's more on the players and the managers than it is somebody super high up because they don't have the hands on.
Can I say something else?
All right, real quick, because I have a few stuff to go through. So real quick, Sammy.
Yeah, I'll just say that both Victor Font and Laporta wants Xavi as their manager. So really, it doesn't really matter who wins, because if we say Victor Font wins, we're not gonna play a different type of football than if Laporta wins. Still going to be Serie football, the same, like everything. But Laporta has ties to other big agents because he, for example, he said he wanted to bring in Haaland. I don't know if he's going to do that, but he said it, okay? So, for example, he had ties to agents like Mino Raiola and different types of agents and stuff. That's why Laporta is probably the little bit safer option.
Okay. So, I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about the future of Barcelona, man. So, I think that people would agree that these guys represent the future. Now, if Koeman isn't really the long-term manager, I think the dude in the middle is definitely going to be part of that. Even if he's not part of Koeman's plans, I think he's going to be part of any dude's plans coming through, specifically if, let's say, it's a Xavi or so forth. Now, the dude on the left, I feel that if he continues to progress, he could definitely be one of the best players in the world. I think what he's already done at 16, 17, 18 is insane. And Barca have to do everything to hold on to him. So again, it goes back to the whole superstar thing, where who is the superstar that they have? Now, you have to chill. And what I always say is that relax before putting any pressure on a 16, 17, 18-year-old. I think with Mbappe, we just need to know this guy is different at 17, 18 at Monaco. I think we don't really know that yet of whether Ansu Fati can do that. And Pedri, from what I've seen, is another really good quality player, who is pretty much in that kind of Barca mode. So, how excited are you guys for the future of Barcelona? Let me come first to Kule with this. So, how excited are you at Ansu Fati, Pedri, and Ricky Puig, and them carrying the torch after Messi leaves?
Oh, I'm very excited. I think that not only Because the thing is, like, okay, we have these, but these players are very attacking players. What I'm also interested in is, okay, who's going to be the players that's going to be in the back? Who's going to be the players that are going to keep our defense well? And what I'm also looking at are players like Araujo, for example, the new center back that just came in for Piqué, and I think so far he's been doing a tremendous job. He still needs to learn the way of the game, but I think he's doing well. I'm also liking what I'm seeing from Mengueza. But the thing is, I think the most important key thing is going to be who takes the left back role. Because right now, the left back role is we need a new left back, and we need not only a left back but a long term position for the left back. So I think that is going to be what's going to carry us forward. But I think overall, with these three, I think our attack will look good depending on who fills in the other spots, like players like Frankie De Jong if he stays around. Players if we get Holland, how will Holland and Rique Puig play, and then of course, and how Holland and Ansu Fati and Pedri play with each other. But I think overall, I think it looks good, but we still need more. We still need more areas that need to be filled in. So yeah.
All right. And Damien.
Yeah, obviously, I'm very happy that looking at these players, but I think the main important thing is having that spine, having that core of players. So we have Ter Stegen, which is our best goalkeeper of our history. Victor Valdez, bro, that guy, we have to have a talk about him. Like that guy is really. But we have Ter Stegen, we have Araujo,
Mm-hmm.
and then possibly Ricky, and then Ansu Fati. If we can keep that, then in the future, I think we have something right there. And I think that, and we also gonna have to get that that one senior center back along with Araujo. We need that leader in the back because PK right now, he's not looking too good. But yeah, I think, or maybe I'm cheesy, but he gets injured a lot. But yeah, I think him, Dest, he's doing pretty well even though he's injured. Yeah, I think that it looks good, but I think we really need to go out in there and get that proper center back that we've been missing for ever since Puyol left.
All right. And what's it called? Sam.
What was the question again?
So how excited are you at this at these three? Who you would say? Obviously, there's Arau and so forth, but specifically
Yeah, I want to
these
mention
three.
as well.
How excited are you about the future of Barca, led by these young dudes?
I'm really excited actually, and I think you mentioned earlier about putting pressure on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're gonna succeed as a footballer, you need to handle the pressure, especially at a club as big as Barcelona.
But should you? No, Bruno, I singled out Ansu Fati. Now that's
Oh,
works
okay,
for
okay.
a 24, 25-year-old. You should a 16, 17-year-old should not be your best player who you're now depending on to win games for a 17-year-old.
I mean, I can agree that with some chance, but Ansu Fati is our best offensive player when he plays. I don't count Messi, of course. So I think the pressure it's okay because these players should have pressure. They should learn to handle the pressure. If you can't handle the pressure, you won't succeed in the football life. That's just simply how it is. And I'm very excited about Ricky Puig, by the way, because I saw him. I think it was Real Sociedad game when he came on, and he just controlled the play like I've never seen in a long time, actually. So I'm really excited, especially for Ricky Puig.
Okay. What's it called? Sean.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future. That's what the question is, right? It's based on the future, like our
Yeah, future.
excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, my future is basically the excitement of the club is contingent upon Messi leaving, which I hope he does. So then that the club can grow. Then you could look at players like Pedri going more centrally. That gives another vacancy for Pooch to come in, and then Fati can develop out wide. Fati can actually play centrally as well. And then Dembele might have more freedom. Griezmann can finally play his natural position more frequently. And then there's going to be a trickle-down effect where, okay, we're getting new England players, Messi's out, take out Busquets, okay, Alba's going to leave. Then you're going to consistently rebuild, and it starts from the top. Get rid of Messi, rebuild your team. And that's the most important. That's why it's very exciting, because if you look at the talent level, if you look at on paper, the talent level Barcelona possess, it's still really high. Like we're in shambles because of chemistry and cohesiveness and off the field issues that are seemingly permeating onto the pitch, which makes it very difficult for us to succeed. Take those issues off, get a new president, modern approach with Victor Font, get rid of Messi, and I say that as respectfully as possible because I think he deserves to play where he can win a Champions League before he retires at City or PSG. The point is, if you do that, the future looks great. And if you look at a club like Barcelona, you can say La Masia hasn't developed the sort of players as it has in the past. That's wrong. A lot of players are being developed, but in this modern era, the issue is that we're not utilizing them properly. And I think that we can, if we're smart enough, getting a manager that believes in them. So here's actually my not theory, but I would say this is the one thing that I think Barcelona should do. And I know people are against Xavi, basically, but I would say this: Victor Font plus Xavi. Victor Font's modern kind of philosophy, right? At least changing a bit, coupled with Xavi's ability to adapt and change, because Xavi can, he's a very smart guy, with the fact that he has a particular style that's kind of in line with Cruyff, possibly Guardiola, and he can change it based off of how the current game is going, and he's going to have a lot of trust in La Masia. All of those components together create a perfect balanced team that can really compete. And if you look at Real Madrid, are Madrid going to be improving in the next 2 to 3 years? Are they actually? Because I actually don't see it, to be honest. I really don't. I don't see a lot of youth there coming up. I don't see the pool as it much was in the past. And if you look at players that are coming in and struggling, look at Hazard, look at Isco, he's struggling. James was a struggle there. Bale then ultimately left.
Real's gonna have problems later on.
So Real are actually going into a trend. They're going to have problems. Atletico will not be as consistent for the next couple of years because, well, A, Simeone won't be there forever. B, their style is going to be completely different when he leaves, and they don't have the financial backing to compete with Barcelona and Madrid consistently. So I think Barcelona have a really,
I don't
really,
agree with
really
that.
They don't have the financial backing.
They have a much better financial backing than we do. We are in financial shambles right now. Remember that.
I'm talking a long-term approach, not the next couple of years. And Atletico will never have that because we're Barcelona, a bigger brand. And unfortunately for that, if the Super League comes into fruition, then it's going to be even more difficult for Atletico to keep up financially because we're going to get even more funds and it's going to be allocated more to us and have more resources. But the point is, I like the future if Messi leaves.
All right, so now let's talk about the big boy trophy. So I think some people have already alluded to this, and some of you guys are already holding up the white flag. And that, of course, is the Champions League and PSG. If you look at it on paper, I think people are assuming that PSG are going to win and they're going to knock out Barcelona. Specifically, if, let's say, PSG are at full strength, But the Champions League is a very weird competition, and I think it is. This is generally the first time. This is the first time in the Messi era where Barcelona are generally going into a game as genuine underdogs. I don't think there's ever been a time ever since the Messi era, specifically if you just say like from the 08-09 season, where Barca went into a knockout game where you are 100% underdogs.
You don't think Bayern München last year we were underdogs?
They were not genuine underdogs.
Okay.
Barcelona were favorites, but you were like, this could go either way. People, before that game, people were like, man, this is a damn good game. Well, we expect Bayern to win, but it's a damn good game. Remember, hindsight is 2020. This was before what's happened. We're like, yeah, Bayern should win, but who knows? Because, Messi could do something, everything like that. But this is the first time where, no. Nobody, I don't think anybody is picking Barcelona to win this game. No one is. But, PSG are PSG, and PSG are going to PSG, and LSG are going to LSG, and you never know whether Neymar is going to be fit or not. Because I think that if Neymar isn't fit for that game, that changes everything. That changes the whole thing. If Neymar isn't fit, because that team lives and dies by how Neymar plays. And also, I can't vouch for Pochettino. So let me come first to Kule on this, man. Genuine thoughts on that game, and I want you to also factor in with or without Neymar, Barca's chances.
It all relies on the defense. Oh man, I think the scariest matchup in that game is gonna be Mbappe versus Alba. Oh my god, Alba is gonna get smoked. Our defense, if we show up with the same defensive issues, oh yeah, just count us out. Well, we're not doing anything. But anything can happen I don't think we have a lot of time left, but we can still prepare well for this game. So with Neymar, it depends on how well we close him down. But to be honest, it's gonna be hard to cause it's gonna be hard to because like PSG have two vocal points. They have Neymar, but they also have Mbappe. So will Barcelona have the tools to kind of keep both of them quiet? I don't think so. So I think with Neymar, I think PSG proves pretty easily. But without Neymar, I think with the current form of Mbappe, I think that we could try to step up in our game, but I think it depends on how we set up for the attack. Because the thing is, if we're gonna play with the whole Messi thing, um, they can because any team that watches us for like 10 minutes knows okay they're gonna attack, they're gonna press on Messi, they're gonna put three guys on him, they're gonna put more guys on Alba when Alba goes up front, they're gonna put so much in the middle of the box, they'll try to take Griezmann out. So yeah, like it's easy to play against Barcelona. So we're gonna need a lot of versatility, and we're gonna need a lot of dynamicism if we're going to beat PSG. But chances with Neymar, no. Chances without Neymar, maybe.
All right. Sam?
First of all, I think I speak for most Barca fans right now that this game doesn't really matter for us. I mean, of course we want to win, but in the end, we have bigger problems right now. But back to the game, I think it's not going to be up to the defense because, in my opinion, our biggest problem this season has been the offense. We don't score enough goals. We create a lot of chances each game, but we don't score the goals. We are not like clinical in front of goal. And PSG, remember, they have a really good defense. They're not like Huesca defense. I mean, we couldn't even break through Huesca's defense. That's the biggest problem we have right now. Even with Fati, even with Dembele, I mean, we still need more creativity in the play. I think it's gonna be up to the offensive. I think we're gonna win this game, but of course, anything can happen. But I think it's gonna be more of a mental game. If we can win the mental game, we maybe can have a chance. I mean, I only hope that we at least give 100% and don't like give up and they concede. We concede like 8 goals like last time. So
All right. Damien.
Man, I'm really drenching this game. Neymar, Mbappe. Well, that's really it. Well, maybe a Verratti, but he was barely fit. Obviously, anything can happen in 180 minutes in a game. Who expected Ajax beating Real? Like, who really expected that? So, obviously, we had to go into this game. Obviously, I want us to be competitive. I don't want us to lose this game. But I feel like long term we have bigger issues, just like what Sam said. But I think the main way that how we're gonna win this is if we can lock off Neymar and Mbappe. Because if we can lock them two off, who's really gonna show up in that PSG team? And yeah, and yeah, I just think that that's gonna be that key area for us to really advance to the quarterfinals, which we haven't got knocked out in the round of 16 since I think around a decade. So we always made the quarterfinals. So it'll be the first time if we do get knocked out in the round of 16 in about a decade.
Sean?
Before I go on, HH, you agree that Barca are underdogs, right, in this game?
Yes. Yes.
And how come in the past you said they weren't?
Wait. When did they say they were not underdogs?
So,
this game-
no, in the past you said they were, but now you're saying, so you're saying they are, because in the comment section people are saying that you kind of flip flopped on Barcelona being underdogs and not underdogs, and
No. I think the general perception is they're underdogs. I'm just talking general perception. If it's down to me, LSG is LSG. So for me, like I think hence why I said that if PSG are at full strength, they beat Barcelona. If Neymar isn't missing, that game is 50-50. That's just me. But I think the general footballing world, independent of me, would say Barca are heavy underdogs.
I mean, they are heavy underdogs. I think just based off of current form. If you look at PSG, what they've done in the league, they're doing pretty well. I mean, they're first. I know it's League One, but They're banging in goals. They got 44 goals. They've only conceded 11. Defensively, they're pretty stout.
League
That doesn't
on.
matter.
League on.
Right. Okay. So Paredes is a really good player for Argentina, and I think he's been doing really well for PSG as well. Verratti's always good. Neymar's healthy. He's top 2 on the pitch, and then Mbappe. The issue with Mbappe is maybe he's not as scintillating as he once was, but I mean, compared to Barcelona's back line, you might as well be 2018 Mbappe. So PSG are obviously heavy favorites. Anything can happen because Barcelona have some players that can change the game, and that's why Champions League is fun, because over 180 minutes you really never know. But PSG are simply a better team than Barcelona right now, so you'd have to go with them. And you're saying, well, maybe if Neymar isn't on form, or isn't healthy, well, if he's healthy, then I think it's probably 75-25 in PSG's favor. If he's not healthy, I actually think Barca are favored 55-45. I think Neymar has that much of a pull on PSG. And
I don't agree with that.
Well, the thing is, if you look at PSG and how they're set up, and you look at what Neymar's contributions for PSG over the last 2 to 3 years, he's averaging a goal contribution per game. That
doesn't change the fact. How can we, with Pedri and Messi, all these players, penetrate that piece of defense? We won't penetrate it. We are not that good in offense.
Right. These are 2 mutually exclusive things. I'm talking about Neymar, but yeah, obviously it's going to be difficult for us to penetrate PSG. But the point is, Neymar. When was the last time PSG lost over 2 legs when Neymar was healthy at both legs? They don't. They got to a final. They don't. So PSG have never lost when Neymar is healthy for both legs. So what Barcelona have to do is just be clinical and just hope for the best, I guess. And I don't know. I really don't see a situation or a scenario where we actually go through, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I said again, it's a lot. We're still a ways away from that game, and I think that a lot can change by the time we actually reach that game. So much can change, but I think that Barca fans have to be realistic that you're going in there as serious underdogs, man. So, and that's just something that you guys have to pretty much kind of accept. But I've seen so many crazy things in football to be like, hey, man, this is all a done deal. So, guys, we're going to take some questions before we do our throwback. So, guys, send in any questions you want for the panel. Send them in. Send in your questions. So, this was a super chat from Undisputed who says, top 5 greatest Barcelona players of all time. So, I'm going to give you guys time to think. Top 5 greatest Barcelona players of all time. Top 5 greatest Barcelona players of all time. So, Damien, who would your top 5 be? Top 5 greatest Barcelona players of all time.
Off the top of my head, Messi, Puyol, Dino, Xavi, and Cruyff.
All right, Sam.
Number 1, Messi. Number 2, Xavi. 3, Iniesta. 4, Ronaldinho maybe, and 5, Suarez.
Kule?
Just in order or just 5 greatest?
No, just 5 greatest. It doesn't have to be in order.
5 greatest. Messi, obviously. Cruyff. Xavi, Iniesta, of course. And then number 5, I will go for... I'll say... Fuck it. Suarez.
All right. Wow. Sean?
I'm going to go 5, Dino. 4, Xavi. 3, Cruyff. 2, Iniesta. 1, Messi.
Interesting. No Puyol. Who would you guys sell at the end of the season? Who would you guys sell at the end of the season? So, Damien, who would you sell at the end of the season?
Well, there's actually quite a few options, but probably the best one would probably be Messi, but I would obviously want to sell Busquets, Alba, and Longlegs, and also Peculi, but at the end, probably Messi. Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Who would you sell at the end of the season?
Where do I begin? So Messi, I think it depending on the situation with Laporta, depending on who wins the presidency, Messi. But so for the rest, Lenglet, I would sell Busquets, Alba, definitely, he has to go. I would sell Trincao. I don't think he's good enough. I would sell, y'all know Mateus Fernandez, the guy that
Oh, that Brazilian guy, right?
bro, yeah, he only played one game. Yeah, this guy, Bartomeu bought this guy who's making the same amount of wages as Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he's playing only one
Jesus.
game. Yeah, so yeah,
Oh hell no, sell his
yeah,
ass.
sell him, and then I would probably get rid of Neto too. Get another second goal. Put Iñaki Peña as second goalkeeper, and then I would say Pjanic too. I don't think we need him. Yeah, I would
All right.
sell those 8.
Sean?
Messi, Busquets, Alba, Piqué. And I think that just goes in line with the future. I think you get rid of out with the old, in with the new, and you rebuild. That's kind of how I've been reiterating for a while.
All right. Sam?
Jeez, I'm shocked with the players you guys would sell. Okay, I'm just gonna pick the simple ones here: Neto, Firpo, Mateus Fernandez, and Pjanic. I think we don't need them. Oh, and Braithwaite as well. Sorry, Braithwaite.
So you wouldn't sell Messi?
Oh, of course not. No, never.
Okay.
Of course
Okay.
not.
Why?
Hey, look,
I
man,
mean,
get
what
some
do you mean?
cash.
What? I would not sell him because he's gonna be the one that the other players can learn from. Pedri is only really good when he has Messi beside him.
That's not true. You haven't seen him much
That
without
is
Messi.
true.
How would you know? That's the issue. That's the
I
problem.
mean, I see
need to see
Pedri
them-
without Messi.
Really?
He's a decent player, but he's a system
Decent player. System player.
But I see him with Messi, and it's incredible connection with him and Messi. Incredible connection.
Listen, I don't know if you go as far as
I
say
think
that.
Pedri
You
can
judge
learn
me.
from Messi and become a good player by himself. But right now, he needs Messi.
All right. So actually, so let's do this as our final thing before we get out of here. So, as we always do with these things, I pick out an image. I'll give you time just to view this image and just tell me your emotions and your thoughts when you see this image, or just discuss this player. So, here comes the image. I'll give you thoughts to think about it.
What was the
So-
question again?
So basically, it's a throwback to a legend, and it's just giving your thoughts. So when you see this image, what are the thoughts that come into your mind when you see this image? Because I think, there have been many discussions about defenders, best defenders of his generation. Was he underrated? Should he have been given more love than he deserves to? Is he just a Barcelona legend, or is he one of the best defenders of his era? So those are always the kind of questions that I've always been surrounded by, and I'm not even sure where I land as to where I see him beyond just a Barca legend. So, Damien, thoughts when you see this?
Well, first I said that he was the top 5 greatest Barcelona players. So yeah. So obviously I love the guy. I feel like some people have to give him a little bit more respect. Obviously, seeing after he left, we haven't had a proper captain. If you say that Messi's a captain, he really isn't. He's not.
No.
He doesn't lead on the pitch. He doesn't lead in the dressing room. It's like he only leads by scoring goals and
don't agree
doing
with that.
assists. No, it's true.
He leads on the pitch. That's what he does.
No, he does not lead on the
He's
pitch.
not. Messi is not a lead on the pitch.
No, I don't mean how he speaks on the pitch. I mean how he plays on the pitch. He's the
That's
best player
not-
in the world. You cannot get better than him.
No,
That's not
no.
leadership, though. That's
That's
just you're playing
I
well.
think that's a part of leadership, because leadership, you have to both talk well on the pitch and you have to be an example on the pitch.
No. Leadership on the pitch is you are driving your team forward. You're motivating your team forward. There's a particular kind of energy that you're playing with. Messi is just talented, so he's just showing his talent. So it's sort of like autopilot. You see, leadership is, okay, when the team is down, are you the guy that can really drag them through? Which is what sort of Maradona did so well. Messi isn't a leader. He doesn't show any leadership qualities on the pitch.
This guy has been carrying us for like 3 or 4 years now. He has literally been the driving force in our team.
Because he's talented. That has nothing to do with leadership qualities, which are different from you're just a very talented player.
You must understand Messi before with Messi now. Messi before, yes, he took the ball, he ran forward, he scored a goal. Now Messi does assist, he plays with the team. He's a different player now than he was before. But that's my opinion, at least.
Okay. So, Damien, just finish your point before we go.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he's probably of his generation of center backs. I feel like he's probably like top 5 in it. That might be like my biasness in a bit. But I really do think that he was a really good center back. Our last great captain, a legend. Our last good center back. PK has not been the same without him. He's been breaking it up. So obviously, I have the most amount of respect of him, and hopefully, we can get a player like him in the future.
Kule?
So many emotions, man. I think the first time I ever saw Puyol play, I think one of the first times I ever I watched football. It was during the Spain Germany game where he scored the header in, and like
The semi, yeah.
the World Cup semi. Like to do that is so much ball, so much ability, and yeah. But for Barcelona, like easily one of the greatest center backs, easily one of the greatest captains. Like we've been missing someone like him for so long, and that's why I was very excited about Barcelona getting a player like De Ligt, because I felt like De Ligt was kind of gonna be like, okay, not like Puyol, but a player similar to him. But yeah, like we've needed a Puyol for so long, a player that's not only good in defense but also very vocal, but very like someone that can actually like, hey, you're scoring up, go do this. Hey, you're doing that. Like he was very like when he was on the pitch, you felt more relaxed, you felt more comfortable. He offered more security than like I think like PK would offer. But yeah, like Puyol, easily one of the greatest center backs. I think he doesn't get the respect he deserves because I think with the players like Ramos that come through, I think it kind of undermined like how great he really was. But
So you generally think that he was one of the best defenders of his generation?
easily, yeah, easily. Like I would say he's top 3 in Spain history. Easily the greatest in Barcelona history. But yeah, easily one of the best in this generation.
Sam?
What can I say? When I see Puyol, I see the missing piece in our team right now. We need a player just like him, a captain, some leadership, and a player that can, talk to the other players. I remember I watched the interview after the Bilbao game with Griezmann, of course, and he said when the ball came in from the free kick that they had in the last minute, no one talked. It was completely silent. No one shouted where the ball should be. We need that player that can shout where the ball is, and you know what I mean. So yeah, it's a great defender of the best generation.
Sean?
Yeah, I think everybody was spot on. He's one of the greatest of this generation at defending. He was one of the greatest leaders in Barcelona's history. You think of some adjectives like grit, resilience.
But you didn't have him in your top 5, though.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest. I'm more biased towards offensive players, and I'm not. It's just because that was more like my preference in terms of what I prefer to watch. And I think the 5 I mentioned were probably more iconic than him, and I think there's a variety of reasons for that. But I think Puyol is underrated in that just because he's not as technical as maybe some modern center backs. What he had was great positioning, extremely physical, unlimited stamina, it seemed like, and he was really good at orchestrating the back line and keeping them in unison, and that's what Barcelona have missed, and leadership and everything. And there's a reason why he's won a World Cup, won a Euro, he's won Champions League, he's won everything that you can as a center back. He helped to get Ramos to this level, I think, in my opinion. I think in Spain he really helped develop Ramos. So I think and PK as well. I think he's the best, the second greatest Spanish center back ever behind Ramos, because I think Ramos has overtaken that. But I think that what he's done for Barcelona is he's the best captain in our history, and I think we just have to respect him.
All right, guys, it's been swell having you guys up in here, man. I say for Barca, man, it's going to be an interesting next few years for Barcelona. I think this is going to be an interesting decade, because I think this is going to be a decade where, for the first time in like over 10 years, there will be no Messi. I think it's going to be an interesting decade with the developments of Ansu Fati and who the new manager is, because I think, that's the thing. Barca have always had that kind of top-tier dude. And maybe Ansu Fati will be that top-tier dude, and maybe in a Ricky Puig and Pedri, they can say something. But it will be interesting to see what the fallout will be, specifically after that PSG game. Because if Barcelona are to get knocked out, and also depends on the manner they get knocked out in. Because I think if they lose, it's like, fuck, okay, it's disappointing. This now shows the decline. If they get smacked up, I think that would be very painful, and it would be interesting. I mean, we'll do a freaking 48-hour stream if PSG get knocked out, because if Barcelona win that game, then it's a case, bro. Then it's a case of like, could Messi possibly do the impossible in his very life? See, then it's like, it's almost writes it itself. That would be like the most perfect footnote, that Messi somehow, against all odds, fully underdogs, leads them to CL.
If Messi wins a CL with this current team, he's a horseman, whether you like it or not.
Bro, if he wins the CL, I don't want to hear no talk about Cristiano.
No, first of all, Cristiano's not even the conversation when it comes to. Okay,
the fake Ronaldo, bro.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Guys,
That was need to be said.
look, all I'm saying
I
is
want
that
built-in one-on-one. I want him.
Look, we'll cross it, because as I said again, that is the very definition of dud, is if Messi leads Barca to a CL thing. I don't think it's happening. If it does happen, we will cross that bridge when we get there, man. So guys, peace out, stay true, stay real, and I'll see you guys the next one. Peace out. Peace. Become a Football Hut member and gain access to cool emojis on the live streams, and get access to new YouTube content by clicking the join button here. And to view that new content, head over to the YouTube channel homepage and click on the community tab over here.